Okay. Well, it is 7 o'clock, so most everyone who, well, I guess we'll probably have a few people joining in a few minutes, but as I was saying in the practice session, because I thought we had already started it, want to welcome everybody. This is a webinar, and so the way that it's set up in Zoom, for those of you who've not been on this side of things, of presenting things, we actually don't know how many and who all is out in our audience. It's a one-way communication piece, for the most part. But we are really excited and to welcome you tonight to join us. And if any of you are celebrating the holiday today, I hope that you had a great day, and we're happy that you could share a little piece of your evening with us. To get things started, we're going to do a few introductions, and then, but just before we get to that, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. I believe that this event was slated for an hour. Surprise, we're probably going to be able to do it all in about 30 minutes or so, depending on how some questions go. And then, speaking of questions, while it is a one-way communication, only we can broadcast to you with our video and audio, but we do have a little Q&A button that you can send us questions all throughout the presentation. I'll be monitoring that after we get started here in a little bit, and we'll kind of try to incorporate it, keep it casual tonight. And then if there's anything that we left unanswered by the end of the presentation, we'll pull some of those up and be happy to help. So to kick us off with introductions, I'll start. My name is Jason Autry. I'm the assistant director for the assistant director for the University Honors Program, who oversees admissions, communications, some data pieces. I wear a lot of different hats. I'm also a proud alum of not only UC, I got both of my degrees from this fantastic institution, but I've also am also a graduate of this very own honors program. So really excited to present and work for it, and tout the many fantastic things that we do. As part of my job, I also advise some of our University Honors Program ambassadors, and I have two of them with us tonight, so I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ayush Kumar. I'm a first-year international student. I come from Dubai. I am currently majoring in aerospace engineering.
Hi, guys. My name is Victoria. I'm also a first-year ambassador. I'm majoring in aerospace engineering as well, with a minor in astrophysics, and I'm an international student from Brazil.
Yeah, and then we have Claire also on the screen there. She may be able to join us a little bit later in the process. She's actually on co-op, and she got pulled into a last-second meeting that I don't think that she could reschedule because it's with a pretty important client. So she's out there working, doing the best that she can. But she, not only is she an ambassador, but she also works for us in the office, doing a lot of our media and design whenever she's not on co-op. So yeah, we have three fantastic ambassadors, and you'll be hearing quite a bit from them a little bit later on in the presentation. But just to kind of get started, introducing kind of big picture, a little bit about who we are. The University Honors Program at UC is quite a bit different than I think that you'll see from other programs and colleges, honors programs and honors colleges at any other university. And I guess before I jump into this, congratulations for being admitted to UC and to our program. Really excited to have you here. I'm really excited to share with you, like, whenever I talk about how we're different, a lot of people make assumptions, especially coming out of high schools, that honors is all about harder classes, more work, and really intense, like, academic study. At UC, we kind of changed that definition a little bit, and UC is known for its experiential learning, all through its co-ops and internships, but also we like to mimic a lot of that and in what we do as an honors program. We have nearly 300 students graduate, I think, every year. We have a total program size of about 1,400 each year. And not a single student in that entire group ever graduates with the same types of honors experiences all throughout. So what we like to focus a lot on the student, your goals, learning a little bit about who you are, what you want to accomplish whenever you get here. Whether or not that's crystal clear right from the get-go, you know what you're coming here for, or if you want to come here and explore and figure things out and see all the different things that you might not be expecting, tap into, we ask you to tap into and explore different passions, gifts, and talents. And what we do with our advisors and through our program is we invite you to identify and engage in very purposeful experiences. We want you to be intentional about the things that you do. Typically, college students will approach college and just kind of one door opens and then another door opens, and you're all of a sudden you're like involved in all these different things. And you know, that's the bulk of how a lot of students, especially honor students, tend to go through their undergraduate career. But in honors here, we kind of teach you to be selective and almost learn to say no in some ways. Through reflection, you learn a little bit about yourself, the opportunities that you're engaging in, and you're not necessarily engaging in more, but you're getting more out of the stuff that you're engaged in. I said that really quickly, but that's really it's a really important quality to our program. We're not about asking you to do more. We are there to support you with resources and opportunities to maximize, to get the most out of your undergraduate experience. And then we also do that by prioritizing civic participation. We want students who make an impact, and that was a central piece to why you got selected for our program, is because somewhere along the lines we saw impact in your history or potential for impact, and then also focusing on our last quality of inclusive excellence, of really focusing on diversity, diverse experiences. We learn a lot from a lot of different people, and making sure that everybody has a seat at the table whenever it comes to our main vision statement, which is developing students into global citizen scholars who lead innovative efforts towards solving the world's complex problems. We think all of those elements, the individualization, the passions, the gifts, the talents, and being intentional, all towards making an impact and surrounding yourself with a wide, diverse range of students and student experiences is what makes the best college experience possible. And that's what we try to cultivate. Here's a program, and hopefully you see a little bit of how we do that over the course of 3, 4, 5 years, however long you are with us, through the course of the rest of the presentation. So before we get into some last details, I do want, in case it's not clear, we sent a few pieces of email, like messages. By being admitted to UC, receiving that invitation to University Honors, there's no additional steps to confirm with University Honors. Once you confirm to UC, you confirm with our program. We try to make that as easy as possible for you so that you can focus on the really important things. That's focusing on financial aid. If you haven't done so already, making sure that you fill out that FAFSA to see if you're eligible for any other aid. Confirming to UC, and then once you confirm to UC, that's whenever you can unlock the housing and orientation steps in your journey. Orientation always taking place over the summer. They get in touch with their student orientation leaders, or SOLs, as they're called here. But we'll get in. What we want you to walk through those steps before you're worried about anything with our program. The first real thing that you have to do with our program doesn't start until you start classes here in fall semester. And so, talking about UHP requirements, I'm going to invite Victoria to come on in and share with you a little bit about what UHP students do.
Okay, so regarding UHP requirements, I think the first year is the busiest one because we have Gateway to Honors class. This is a 1 credit hour class. It's fairly simple. I took it last semester, and the workload is not heavy at all. It's mostly a class to socialize with your honors peers, and it's very self-reflective. We have a little bit of homework to like write essays about ourselves and really understand what path we want, what we want to visualize for our future years in UHP, mainly regarding our experiences. Where do we want to lead towards when we're talking about self-designed or pre-approved? It depends on the type of experience. I usually will cover that in a minute. And in this Gateway to Honors class, they explain a lot about our learning portfolios, which is a website that we create about our honors years, our years in college, and they're mainly focused in honors, but you can also talk about your years in college and your personality and your involvements on campus. A lot of people use it as an extension to their resumes because it's just a fun type of resume. It's a website that you can literally put whatever you want regarding, like, you can really put your face to the website, and it's subjective, it's relative. A lot of computer science students even program their own websites. It's really fun to just mess around with it and I don't know, figure out what you want your learning portfolio to look like. And also it's something that you cover in class, so it's fairly simple. You have to update it frequently during your honors years. And you also have your first year advising. It's you're required to meet with your advisor at least once in your first year, which will be super natural because they'll contact you. You'll want to contact them to know more about the experiences. And it's also, they will become your closest friend in honors. It's really nice to just have this personal reference in UHP to talk about your experiences. They'll help you figure out what you want from UHP, what you want to start with. You will have to start your first honors experience by June 5th, which will be also simple. It really depends on what you want, and your advisor will help you with that. And also update your learning portfolio. You will have to update it after each experience and after a whole year in UC. Do a little essay, self-reflective essay about your year, about what you want, what you're looking forward to. And also after your second year and on, you will have more advising appointments and you'll have to have more experiences. You have to have 5 experiences until you graduate. So it's also relative and subjective how you want to spread it out. You can have 1 each year, maybe 2 in a year if you're doing only 4 years. But yeah, and you also have to update your learning portfolio fairly frequently.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I wanted to chime in a little bit about is that University Honors is a little bit different from some other places too, because we have specific advisors that are here to coach you through your honors program requirements. They're separate from your college advisors who advise you through your classes and everything else. And then some students who have co-op also have co-op advisors. The way I want you to think about it is we're all experts in those little things of your life, and particularly with the University Honors advisors, I always like to call them like college life coaches, because they're the ones talking to you about like the things that you are usually like really most important to you, the outside the class things that you're doing. So and then this is the summary if you want to cover that.
Yeah, so just to summarize, you have to complete the Gateway to Honors class. You'll have to have 5 honors experiences by the time that you graduate. Again, it's totally up to you how you want to spread it out your college years. So you can have 1 experience a year. If you're doing 5 years in UC, you can do 3 in your first year and maybe even more. Again, you're required to have 5 honors experiences by the time that you graduate, but there are people that do up to 10. I definitely want to do way more because they provide such like amazing opportunities to just get out of your comfort zone, learn more from other people. And I mean, it's really easy if you're involved in UHP, it's really easy to get more than 5 honors experiences. You'll have to maintain your learning portfolio. You have to update it frequently, which also is a simple thing to do. You'll see that it's even fun to have a learning portfolio. You will find yourself wanting to update it and make it a little bit more fun. You have to have at least 3 advising appointments. Again, it's super easy to have this requirement because you'll meet with your advisor way more than that. It will be natural, it will come out naturally, and you'll have to maintain a 3.2 GPA.
All right. So I'm pretty sure you would have caught up on that UHP at UC does not have any harder classes, but what you're required to do are experiences. So what exactly are these experiences? Well, it would be funny if I said we do offer classes too. So the experiences at UC involve seminars, pre-approved and self-design experiences. So in all, what it is it's an experiential. So all it involves is you have to commit certain amount of your time towards certain skills. And what you do at the end is when you gain certain experiences, when you perform certain activities, what you learn and what you reflect out of it is what UHP honestly focuses on. So the experiences that you would do here would majorly involve in sectors such as innovation, impact, and inclusion. We could go on to talk about a little bit of the seminars that we have here. So UC offers about 10 to 12 different classes every fall and spring. So when I say classes, it's not like we're doing any calc course that's academically bound. What we do is different type of interdisciplinary courses. They're also they use your credit hours, so it's like 3 credit hour courses that we have here. Some of them include the blind injustice, sticky innovation, and the Cincinnati art and architecture. And just to give you a gist about what happens in these classes would be, say for the blind injustice, the class would lead you through a semester worth of criminal injustice projects, and the projects led at the Ohio Innocence Project. So that's really cool. We have excellent faculty that is chosen by the staff and students here that lead the class each semester. And there's honestly no prerequisites that's required for you to take this class as long as you're a UHP member. So this is certainly something exclusive for all of us UHP students, that we get to experience these classes. So it doesn't have to be in your major. Anything interdisciplinary, 3 credit hour courses is what you can experience here. Next up, we would have the pre-approved experiences. So
I use just a second. We have the study tours. Do you want me to tackle those, or do you want to do those?
Well, I could. So the study tours at UC also are a part of the seminars. So these study tours are actually seminars that have a travel component in them. So what you would do is, say you take a semester's worth of class, and at the end, at this time of spring or summer, we usually choose locations, and say I was supposed to do one that was in Italy that involved art and architecture of Rome. So that was really cool. And so each place is tied to different locations, is tied to different topics that we cover. And so at the end of the semester, the team UHP would decide students, and they would essentially travel to that place to learn more about it. Some of our signature experiences, these come, as I was saying, these come under pre-approved experiences. UHP Discover and Ramp are some of our classified like signature experiences that we like to call it here. Ramp is a biomedical research program, and Discover is another kind of research program that is non-STEM based. So say if like in summer, our teams usually decide to take up faculties and they link students, and you could essentially do research under them, which would be paid. So it's a really great way to gain experiences, and you do not have to be an engineering or a STEM major to take up these courses. So that's a really fun part about this. Next up, we would have certain other pre-approved experiences that would involve the student roundtable conferences. That is something that I'm doing this semester. And we have a new recent addition to our collection. It's called the UHP Crits. CRIT stands for critical reflection and introspection through storytelling. So it involves, I'm not sure if all of you have heard of it, it involves Dungeons and Dragons. That's how we do role playing and introspection and reflection through reflection being one of the main features of the UHP. Among the ones mentioned on the screen, there are about 50 other options that are listed on the UHP website. And these on the screen are some of the ones that you could possibly take up or are really well-to-do among our students. The student orientation leader, as Jason mentioned earlier, there's Co-op 2.0, the Bearcat's Buddies lead tutor. Some of these involve you, say, teaching, and others are something that involve academic learning. Yeah. Jason, do you have anything to add to this?
The only differentiation that I would make, just to make sure that it's clear to everybody involved, is that the signature experiences are the experiences that are both unique and exclusive to only University Honors students. We are the ones that are hosting these programs, and so you have to be a student to be involved in these programs. The other 100, so I said 50, but within there, there's like dozens of the, like Co-op 2.0 counts for like dozens of different types of opportunities. So in all, we have over 50 listed, but it's over 100 and then some total. These opportunities are what I like to say, like the best of the best, the like who's who ways to get involved around campus. And so we work with these other offices, with these other opportunities, and we say these are high impact opportunities for our students to get involved in. And if they're involved in them, you get credit towards your graduation with University Honors. So those 5 experiences that you have to have for graduation. And so we just picked a few here that kind of speak to a wide range of students. But whenever we talk about, to circle back, like really connecting to students' passions and the things that they want to get involved with, these are some of the ways that you as a student can customize your experience and get credit towards University Honors. So we try to make it as easy as possible for you. The last type that we have is self-designed. Ayush, are you taking care of that one?
Yeah, I'll take care of that. Now let's say you wouldn't fancy any of the seminars, or it would not fit in the required credit, or it would say it will have you go over 18 credits. Or what would you want to do? You want to design your own experience. That's what the UHP is all about, having experiences that are personal to yourselves. So it could, our self-design experiences are literally anything from, say, the Facebook internships or reshooting the Route 66. When I tell you that it could be very personal to you, I know when we took our gateway classes, there have been students that discussed that who were interested in carpentry, and they could say they wanted to rediscover or reapproach the ancient style of that art. And so they took up that as a self-design experience, and they wanted to do that. So again, it's really focused on your personal learning and your personal development, that anything that you're interested in, as long as, like Victoria mentioned earlier, you complete the 75 hours of learning and your reflection time, it could you could have anything in your self-designed experience.
Yeah, we in total, and you don't have to do any number of these. So the 3 different types of experiences, you could do all 5 seminars, you could do all 5 pre-approved, you could do all 5 self-designed, mix and match, do whatever you want. And so like I mentioned earlier, the program is like about 1,400 students all throughout the year. We typically have anywhere between 800 to 1,000 to even over 1,000 self-designed experiences every single year of students. And these are the titles that they give their proposals, their experiences. These are taken right from their websites, their learning portfolios, and the stuff that mattered to them. So yeah, true customizability to whatever it is that you're doing. The next thing that we have is a few of our benefits, and we highlight a few of them. But if there's any questions, this is a good time for questions here. So Ayush, are you taking care of this one too?
Yeah, I'll let you continue. Well, now we did get a good idea about the experiences, and we'd like to share some of our benefits at USP. Firstly, what a lot of students like here about being in the USP is priority class registrations. As a UHP student, you can be one of the first ones to actually schedule your classes. And coming from someone who's in second semester, it is really helpful. Say, not only that you get to choose your professors, but you also get to choose the times that you want to take your classes. So that is something that all of us really prefer, because sometimes you would have preferences of certain times over other times, and that's what we get. Other major benefit could be the grant funding. Now, not to confuse it with other financial aid, but grant funding in the UHP are offered for certain of our kind of experiences that may require a little bit of a funding. So UHP does provide certain amount that could cover up a little bit of your experiences and make that process a little smoother for you. Others would be the individualized program that is very self-focused, as I mentioned earlier. The learning portfolios and the leadership opportunities is something that we all like to, that all helps us develop ourselves. The UHP has programs such as the UHP ambassadors that Victoria and I are part of right now. It also has other programs as like the welcoming leaders, the belong coordinators, and the UHP leaders as well. Jason, you want to open?
Yeah, I'm taking a look at a few questions here, and Ava and Jack, I'll get right to those as soon as I finish up this little piece right here. The honors housing is another area benefit that we get a lot of questions about. And this year, there were some pretty significant changes to the way that housing in general is done. For you as incoming first-year students, once you confirm with the university, within about 24 hours or so, your housing application becomes live. Housing, so if you've talked to anyone who came here in previous years, or you had siblings who came here, one of the big things was that students got to select their individual spaces of where they wanted to live. This year that's changing a little bit, because you're going to be placed based on the preferences that you have in your housing application. So it's going to be really important for you to appropriately list those in terms of like where you want to live around campus. The benefit as being a part of a university honors student is that we reserve 3 of the most high in demand areas on campus that are just reserved floors for honors. And so if you want one of the high in demand places, and there's no guarantees as far as placement and everything else goes, but I would venture to say that you would be more likely to get one of those 3 locations if you were to choose or opt into honors housing, just because we're only going to have probably about 300 to 325 incoming first-year students, and we have let's just put it this way: we've never filled to capacity the reserved areas that we have for honor students, because it is optional for you to choose that. And just to be clear of where those 3 locations are, for first-year students, we have Turner Hall, Marion Spencer Hall, and Scioto. And so those offer a bit of suite style and apartment style options for you to choose from, with some varying price points to try to make that easy for you. So that's the benefit, is you have reserved floors if you want to live in one of those 3 locations, and you want to you want to insure yourself there. It's a lot of our students who have lived there enjoy being around like-minded, similarly motivated, driven students in terms of engagement and everything else around campus. So that's always the reason that we do that, is to give those students who really want those similar goals and motivations on campus, the opportunity to kind of live close by and kind of sharing the experience of being in the honors program. Ava and Jack both wanted a little bit of clarity on the 75 hours on the experiences and everything else. And to answer it directly, is 75 hours per experience, and that's at a bare minimum. A lot of experiences go between 75 and 150 hours. And then there's even a few experiences that exceed 200 hours that can count as 2 experiences. A lot of those being like our research experiences that can be upwards of like 40 hours a week for an entire summer. You're easily going to surpass the 250 hours there. When you do that, and many times you're going to get credit for 2 experiences. If it helps you remember like why this is the case, if you recall, honor seminars are one option for you. The only required class is the gateway class, which is 1 credit hour, and we only meet about 12 to 13 times throughout the semester. And the assignments are maybe 2 or 3 hours after class. So in total, that commitment is only about 15 hours across the entire semester. And if it's anything like my class always wrapped up even before Thanksgiving. So you didn't have to worry about finals or anything else like that. But our honors seminars are all 3 credit hour classes. So your meetings at 3 hours a week for 15 weeks over the course of the semester. So that's 45 hours. And then we account for about 2 hours per week for homework, studying for tests and everything else. So that's another 30 hours. 45 plus 30 gets us to 75 hours. And boom, that becomes our baseline for all experiences and how we get there. It's all going to be equivalent to taking a class worth of work. Now, pre-approved experiences, sometimes you can do an alternative spring break and you get all 75 of those hours done in a week. There are some self-designed experiences that take 10 months, and you can kind of spread that out to where you're only doing 2 to 3 hours throughout the course of the week. So where and how that commitment, completely flexible to you and your experiences. Got another question here about UHP housing and how roommates work. If you prefer to, so the way that roommates work this year is you can only identify up to 1 roommate. If you want to be in the university honors reserved floors, then both roommates have to be university honors students. There's no splitting there. But if it's more important for you to find that roommate and find another space, there's thousands of options elsewhere on campus. So you just won't be able to get into the honors housing reserved floors for that. So, and then another question here. Does honors reserved housing, the floors have co-ed floors? Yes, they're co-ed floors because in the suite style and the apartment style, both of those have their own, within their own units, you have a private bathroom. There's no community bathroom there. It's just shared with just your roommates, the people who are in there. So yes, they are co-ed floors, but all of them have the private bathroom options. So yeah, there goes our questions that we have so far. There's just a few other slides that we have to wrap up. Are either of you taking on these last ones, or do you?
Yeah, I can take this last one.
Okay.
I'll just read. University honors is not meant to be the bullet point on your resume. Instead, it provides you the answers for the interview and the ability to lead on your first day. So what that means is that university honors is not really something that you say like, oh, I'm in honors, so I'm for sure going to guarantee a job because of that. But rather, it just offers you the opportunities to grow in your college life and to explore yourself and as a person and as a professional, as a friend. And to really understand who you are in college, to really understand who you want to be. It's a really self-reflective program. It's just really nice to have this program that can both develop you as a professional and as a person. So, I mean, at least for me, my first experience, for example, is a self-designed. I'm currently leading a project in which we're designing a high altitude balloon to collect a sample of a cloud and measure air pollution. And I turned it into a self-designed experience, which is related to the honors program, but also something that I'll talk about so much in my interviews, because I'm gonna be a better professional because of it, and I couldn't do it if it wasn't for the honors program, just pushing me to be a better person and pushing me to go outside of my comfort zone, to lead projects like this with people that I hadn't met, and really just take the risk, take your chances, and I don't know, just have fun in college while you do it. It really is a program that provides you with this opportunity. I think it's really worth it to explore yourself in the way and make the most of your experiences. Do whatever you want with them, because it's a really personal thing. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, we had a few more questions come in, and we are. Thank you for that, Victoria. This was actually said to me by one of our college partners, and how they talk to their students about it. And I asked for permission to steal that quote because, yeah, starting in college, like bullet points on your resume don't get you very far. They just don't. You have to have the experience to back it up. So, if you want to write that you're a member of the University Honors Program on your resume and you want to use that, you better be ready to defend. Okay, so what does that mean? What did you do with the program? What are you doing? And so, yeah, you wanna fulfill those answers. But just to kind of, so we are at the end of our presentation. I want to share this information here, and then we'll allow for a few more minutes. We'll probably go to about 7:45 before we close things down, because I want to invite you to, if there's anything else that comes up to you over the course of the next week, or if we don't get to questions that you've asked tonight, or you knew other people that are part of the program, that all you want to do is sit and talk to current University Honors students. We actually have 5 of our current students that are going to be joining you next Thursday at 5 p.m. And this is unlike tonight, where it's purely informational. We share all this stuff to you, and it's all about the University Honors Program. Next week, we're going to do like 1 minute short introductions, and then we're just going to take questions for 30-45 minutes, not just about the program, but what it's like to be at UC, like helpful hints to get started along the way, things that you want to do over summers, planning for co-ops, whatever it is that matters to you, wanting to get excited about UC. We want to have our ambassadors there to answer whatever questions that we can. So you should be able to join us the same way that you joined us tonight through your admissions portal. We'll be doing a Zoom as well, but it's going to be a Zoom meeting, not a webinar. So we'll be able to see you, hear you, interact with you. So we invite you to that for as long as you'd like. So just to finish out with a few of the questions that we got. So for those of you who want to peace out, you got things to do, maybe dinner to get to, thank you. And now we'll get to some of the last few questions. So Abigail asks, does honors housing affect living learning communities? Not so. If you're part of a living learning community, then that's going to be a completely separate, like a living requirement for you. So you'll want to do what that living learning community has for you if it has that housing component. They have their own reserved spaces, and for them, at least many of them, you're required to live in those spaces, because the whole idea of that living learning community is to have that shared space. I'm not sure, are either of you in a LLC right now? Okay. Just wanted to open it up to our ambassadors in case that either of them had experience with that. So, but if you're not participating in an LLC, a living learning community, then, you know, wanting to be a part of the honors housing piece and putting that on your housing application will be an option for you. And then we had another question here. Will there be opportunities to meet others admitted to UHP prior to choosing housing, or a platform to communicate with other possible roommates? So I do know that through the housing application, there's an roommate matching system. I'm not sure of all the capabilities and what the options are there, but I was assured by housing that there's options there for students to kind of interact and talk to each other. We don't, the University Honors Program doesn't have any in-person activities or events that we have for the spring. But whenever it comes to the summer orientations and you show up for your day on campus, get excited, you start getting your class schedule for the fall and everything else. You'll hear more about this, so don't worry about details or anything else like that. But we do have an orientation pre-session that starts about 45 minutes before the first welcome session. So you'll get information about that. And typically at those sessions, we've had upwards of 30 students that all decide to come on the same day of orientation. And we have like about 45 minutes of activities and an opportunity to meet other honor students who were there with you. And it's kind of cool to be able to look around the room. And before anybody even attends that first session, you already know at least 5 or 10 people that you can go up to, have lunch with, join other sessions and everything else. So I think other students find ways. I don't know if Victoria or Ayush, if you guys have any other ways that students meet each other before arriving here.
So I met my roommate in an app for roommate. I don't know if it's an app for roommates especially, but I'm pretty sure it is. It's the name, it's Patio. It's not related to University Honors at all. So there are students for all, like both University Honors students and people that are not in the program, but that's how I met my roommate. You just talk to a lot of people. I like to say it's like Tinder for roommates. Because you talk to a lot of people, and sometimes you can find someone that they really identify with and can live with. I'm sure there are other apps. Maybe talk to some of your friends. I don't know if there's a new app that I'm not aware about. But Patio, I might write it down for you guys. But yeah.
As much as like two years ago, I think students were even still using Facebook as a means to find people through some Facebook groups. But yeah, I'll try to find an answer to that, or more answers before next week. So for our Q&A. So someone is a Turner Scholar, will you be able to live with other Turner Scholars on an honors themed floor? So quite a few Turner Scholars got into our program, but not all of them. So, and I don't think that there's a residential like housing component to being a Turner Scholar. So if you want to live with another Turner Scholar and an honor student, or if you want to live with another Turner Scholar on an honors themed floor, then they just have to be a Turner Scholar who also got an invite from University Honors. So that's kind of the tricky piece there. Will there be a recording in this session available somewhere? My intention is to try to get a recording of this up on our website in kind of like our prospective student section within the next week or so. So that's something that I work with some of our student assistants who help out with the website. So I can't give you an exact time, but yes, we plan to make the recordings available to you so you can always go back to it. With the new way of applying for housing, is still first come, first served process. So first come, first served isn't the way that I would put it. There's a priority, and basically the earlier that you submit your housing application, the earlier your application will be read and considered for placement. And that's taken on a week by week basis. So, somebody that submits their application on Monday isn't necessarily going before the person on Tuesday, but the allotments that come in within a week are kind of separated. And that's basically rewarding the people who want to confirm and commit to UC earlier on in the process to give them the higher priority of where they want to live. the little loophole and really the benefit with the honors housing piece is, like I said, our spaces haven't filled for as long as I've been doing this. So if you are still choosing between quite a few different schools and you're not quite sure where you want to go, the later that you get in the process, perhaps the more important you might want to think about living in an honors space, if living in one of those honor spaces is where ultimately where you want to live, just because that's a way of kind of like securing your spot for you. So I hope that answers your question. And then how does early class registration work? Talking about the priority registration benefit, when does that happen? I'm going to answer the first part. So the priority registration doesn't kick in for first year students until you're registering for your spring semester classes, because everybody's classes come in through orientation. But Ayush or Victoria, do you want to talk about how priority registration worked for you this past fall or for this spring?
I can definitely take that up. So it definitely does work. What happens is all the honor students are given a certain big period. I think that's prior to the rest of the class. It's not only honors, it is certain other sports groups as well. So being in honors, you're given certain time period, a few weeks before everyone else, that you can go ahead and choose your professors and choose your class timings. So you will all be notified through an email that on the certain date at certain time, you would be allowed to add classes to your schedules. That's how it worked for the two of us. For me especially, because I went through the timings in the first semester and I had certain strong suits about how I wanted my classes to be, because I wanted to do other club works and other volunteering things after my classes. And so I kept my classes at a very specific time slot during my day. So yes, it does really work, and it works well for me. Victoria, do you have anything to add?
I think the plan is that you get to register before you get to register even before seniors and juniors. Like like you can't beat that as far as a benefit.
Especially in your first few years taking general classes. The classes are so crowded, and to have priority registration is just a game changer. You can get the professors you want, and you can literally get the schedule that you want. If you prefer to have only morning classes or night classes, you have the chance to pick, and this is really nice, especially in UC. There are so many people here, and it's just so competitive. Yeah,
and then we had, I think this will be the last one that we take for tonight. If you live in an LLC other than honors, it's a lot harder to connect with other honors students. Do one of you want to take that, of like all the different ways that students can connect with other first year students beyond housing?
Sure. So no, there are so many different ways that we can start with. Starting with the gateway class itself, you already find so many other first year students and people in your batch that are currently in honors, and that's a great way to network. And apart from your section, there would be multiple other sections. So you know for a fact that there are other students. The UHP always organizes so many different events. Say, I would give you an example for this week. There's an event about painting and having fun with networking with other UHP students. So there are events like this, there are webinars like this that keep on happening. There's others, there are informative ones. There are ones that you could go out and just chill and network. So there are multiple ways that UHP does, multiple things that UHP does for you, and you can come there, you can stay for as long as you like, you can interact with other students, and you'll find more people to interact with. So it's not only just housing, there are other things and other webinars as well.
Yeah, I think that's very natural. Campus really is a small world, and you end up meeting friends that like you end up finding out weeks later that they're also honors. That happens a lot. Even in non-honors floors, you get to meet people in honors. It happens. And also if you take a seminar or something like an honors seminar, of course, there will only be honors people or even pre-approved experiences. There are also honors people that are having this as a pre-approved experience for them. So yeah, it comes very naturally. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we also have days of service where you can go out and do community service with other honor students. But I'm also going to pitch two other like opportunities that we have. First of all, we have what's called our welcome experience, where we have upper class students that kind of act as mentors for you to get started, and they have various meetups and socials and all kinds of things over the course of your first 6 weeks as you get started. So we've been doing that for a couple years now. And then Victoria and Ayush are actually two of our first year students who this summer applied to be first year ambassadors. So they took on leadership positions and showed up for our retreat that we always have the Saturday before classes start, and got to connect with 35 other honors ambassadors before even the first day of classes. So if being an ambassador, talking to other people and welcoming them to our university and to our program is something that fits for you, look out for that invitation to apply later on this summer. And this might be you next year doing a similar type of webinar. So yeah, plenty of opportunities, all kinds of time. And speaking of time that does put us well over, if you're still with us 50 minutes later, thank you for spending your evening with us. We appreciate it, and we look forward to having you here at UC, at University Honors. And if you have any further questions or anything else, you can contact us there, or you can join us next week and we can continue the conversation. So Ayush, Victoria, thank you for your night. You guys did fantastic. And with that, good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you. Good
night,
night.
guys.